everybody, it's Monday night. It's time for the Big Picture Live. Boy, I tell you what, the truth is coming out. Woo, Tucker Carlson's got some folks messed up. They are mad at him. We probably need to pray for his protection because he's exposing some stuff. So many lies have been told to us. So many lies are continuing to be told to us. That's why we have the Big Picture to open up your eyes to what is really going on. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, and invite others to join us. It's the Big Picture Live. Let's go. It's time. Yes, it is the Big Picture Live. We're going to break some news tonight. We have got some videos to show you tonight. So some clips from Tucker Carlson being on Joe Rogan's show. And boy, did he talk about some stuff that he knew and that he's been exposed to. In addition to that, of course, Trump is on trial. Things are happening there in the trial there. Things are going on, heating up dramatically in the Middle East. The Ukraine-Israel supposed Taiwan support bill was passed, and I'm going to show you some things that were in that tonight that you probably did not know were in there. So I'm looking at the live chat. It's already being very, very active tonight. If you hadn't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and smash it now. Get it over with. So every time you hear me say it tonight, you can just say, I already done that. Smash it, smash it, smash it. We're only on YouTube and Rumble tonight. So if you're watching us on Rumble as well, hit the like button. And if you do not follow us on Rumble, let's go ahead and show you how to do that. All you got to do is go to rumble.com/Larry Ragland, rumble.com/Larry Ragland, and follow us there. I'm going to show you tonight something that's really, really important that involves Rumble. Rumble is under attack already. Many of the things like we're doing, the platforms that we're on, we've been telling you this is coming. Boy, I tell you, I don't know what the future holds, but we're trying to do the best we can to make sure that we can talk to you on a daily basis. All right, in just a moment, the Queen will be coming in, and she'll be joining us, and she is doing better. I'll let her give the update on actually how she is doing. She's getting better. She appreciates your prayers, and one thing that we greatly appreciate is all of our partners. Thank you for those who have hit the join button here on YouTube, but also especially thank you to those who have gone to our website, LarryRagland.com or .tv, and become a monthly partner because we got the contract today. If everything goes right, timeline-wise, I'll be able to tell you when we will be on Faith TV. It is incredibly exciting, and we're going live in May. So I think we're almost ready to bring in the Queen in just a moment.
The Queen needs more space.
The Queen needs a little bit more space. She is coming in, though, and we're gonna welcome her in. There she is.
Yeah.
There she is.
The Queen forgot to put her right earbud in.
It's all right.
We'll stop talking.
We'll wait on you, baby. We'll wait on you.
We'll talk in first person now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
it's great to be here.
Oh yeah. Well, look. So everybody wants to know. We're going to get into the news, but everybody always wants to know, how are you doing? How is your recovery going?
Still going slowly, but I feel like we are making some solid progress. I'm feeling a little sassier. So I equate that to
I might need to say, y'all pray for me.
Better overall. But yes, I do think I'm getting around a little better. It is still very hard to get around. I don't have anywhere near freedom of motion that I want. But still thankful for each and every day and looking forward to the future when not hobbling around, not using a cane, not wrapping my knee in an ACE bandage. So everything is good. Very thankful.
Yes.
But please continue to pray for me.
Yes.
Really want to be out in that yard, digging in the dirt, planting things in my garden.
If y'all could see her out there walking around,
let's don't talk about
checking on her grass and her plants with her walker and all that. But hey, you can't keep a woman of God down like this. So. All right, so let's get into the news tonight, Sandy. We got a lot to cover tonight. Boy, it's been a busy news week.
Yes,
and
it is.
Right off the bat, I want to talk about what's going on in our college campuses. Police storm Yale University campus with riot gear. 47 were arrested as hundreds staged an anti-Israel protest. I'm telling you, the anti-Semitism is just unbelievable that is being exposed. Police clad in riot gear swarmed Yale University's Connecticut campus early Monday, arrested dozens of students who refused to clear out from anti-Israel protest encampment. But then I want to also click on this one here. Is this 2024 USA or 1933 Germany? Look at this.
Right.
Columbia University rabbi tells Jewish students to go home over threat of violence. And then one more thing I want to show you here, and then we're going to talk about it. This is an incredible video here. I want you to listen to what they're saying here. This happened at Columbia University that we just talked about last night. And, of course, they're saying the party of Hamas that are promoting them. Of course, if you're a Democrat, let's just tell the truth, whether you like it or not. Not everybody that's a Democrat is, not by no means. But, I mean, they're part of the problem here, okay? Let's just tell it like it is. The new Nazis, I hate to use that word, probably just got flagged, are just like the old ones. Watch this video. This happened at Columbia University last night.
Attention, everyone. Can I get everyone to form a human chain right here, please? We have Zionists that have entered the camp. Mike, check! Repeat after me. We have Zionists. Who have entered the camp. We are going to create a human chain. Where I am standing. So that they do not pass this point. And infringe upon our privacy. And try to disrupt our community. Please join me in this chain.
So they formed a human chain across the entrance of Columbia University in the United States of America.
Right.
Had this chant, everybody's wearing masks, Antifa's everywhere. Who knows who's in the crowd? And they literally blocked the entrance of a college so that Jewish people could not come into the college. There's pictures circulating right now, black and white pictures of Nazi Germany, where the Nazis are holding hands going across the front of their universities, blocking Jews from going into the university. This is shades of the 1960s, the 1950s, when people were when you had the Ku Klux Klan blocking African Americans from coming in. Listen, this is 2024, and our supposedly compassionate, loving people that go to college are being exposed truly for the indoctrination that is happening.
Modern
this is insane.
Civilization, we're supposed to be past all of this.
Yeah.
And no, we're diving deeper into these ways of the past. So much hatred and, oh my goodness. So this was, which two universities?
This was Yale, Columbia. It's happened in multiple. It's happening in almost all the Ivy Leagues. The elites, the ones that are rich and have all this money, and there's just so many other colleges that are happening. I mean, look at this. This is I believe this is Yale, and they're just blocking the entrance to the college.
Exactly, but we don't know who these people are.
True.
We don't know if they're actually students. We don't know if these were individuals who were offered or promised something, just like a lot of these other demonstrations we've had in the past, where it appeared that the outspoken leaders were paid and the others were bussed in from who knows where and possibly offered something. We don't know who they are. We don't know that they are definitely students.
And most of these people they put on camera, they'll ask them, they'll be holding up signs that says LGBTQ for Palestine. And then they'll say, do you know that if you did this in Palestine, do you know if you did this in any Middle Eastern country, what would happen to you? And they're just oblivious.
Oh no, they have no idea.
They're oblivious. They're just trying to sign up for the latest woke thing. But this is not the latest woke thing, y'all. This is hatred. And this is going to cause some people, and it already has caused some people, injury, serious injury, and possibly their life, because they are jumping on the bandwagon. And I blame politicians and I blame the media for stoking this fire. And I'm telling you, what it's really doing is like turning the light switch on some cockroaches.
Sure.
This whole war that's happening in Palestine is exposing and gave permission for certain people to come out of the woodworks.
Boy, did they. So how many would you say were there counts, were there numbers? I mean, these pictures that I've looked at, they're not humongous crowds.
No, there's big crowds.
So
these pictures are not big crowds, but there's been some big crowds, yeah.
That was my question.
Oh, yeah.
So once you get so many people in an area, sure, it is very easy for things to pop off. Things can happen quickly and just get out of control very quickly. But the smaller crowds, at least, hopefully can be better controlled. And I'm sure these people have a plan and they're very willing to take it to the next level.
Well, notice how on that chant that we just showed in the video, they said, repeat after me. Yes. And everybody just lined up.
Yeah.
And I think you and I both know, and I think this is what you're saying too, is a lot of these people are paid. They're paid by Soros.
The ones in charge are surely paid. I mean, I'm not going to say I absolutely know, but I feel strongly that they are paid to be the leaders. And some of these people, they may be offered a meal if you show up, or these are just opinions,
so funny that you should say that.
Opinions of mine. But the signs, we're looking at pictures of the signs that they're holding up. Who knows if the people holding the sign even made the sign?
Exactly. Well, look at this. You said offer a meal. Look at this right here. Show you modern day protests. A man passing out sushi to protesters at Yale.
Right.
They're the elite, y'all. The elite that are living off their mama and daddy. They ain't never had a job. They're getting a degree in something that is never going to get them employment.
What I'm
getting at, and they're eating
Yale.
They're eating sushi.
What I'm getting at is probably kind of a theme for tonight's show is any of this real?
Right. Come on.
Okay, sure.
Yep, that's the thing.
Anybody can call for a demonstration and get people together under a banner. That doesn't mean the people that show up are actually committed to that cause, or they're there just out of concern or interest.
Yeah.
Or that they even know or understand what it's about. Yeah. So those are just my feelings.
Yeah, it's just, and I've seen pictures. Thank you for that super sticker. Woo-hoo, man, DRW.
Wow.
What a blessing.
Very thankful for that.
Thang you so much, DRW.
I'm going to try to not squirm too much.
Oh, you're doing good.
But you shouldn't be too critical of me because you're over there cough drop talking again.
Am I cough drop talking?
You had something in your mouth earlier.
It was a mint. It wasn't a cough drop.
Well, it was clicking around in your mouth, so I just assumed it was a cough drop.
Okay. Y'all, we don't need counsel. Have counseling right here in front of everybody.
Don't worry about my squirming. Worry about your cough drop talk.
All right. Okay. All right. So look, while that's going on, look what's happening here in our own Congress.
Yes.
Congress. I'm gonna read it like it says. Congress. I ain't gonna say that, but Congress. You know what? Over the U.S. again by passing.
Yeah.
A $95 billion aid package. Are you ready for the southern border? Oh, wait a minute, not the southern border. I mean, not for the homeless. Not for the veterans. Not for those that have served us. Not for the first responders. I don't know what I'm thinking. For Ukraine,
right?
Of course, Israel and Taiwan.
And when did this happen? Because I know when I got the alert on my phone.
This was the day before yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday, this was out 2 days ago. That's why it says yesterday. The U.S. House of Representatives passed another round of funding for several countries, valued at $95 billion in total, $61 billion to Ukraine. We're going to talk about that extensively in just a minute. $26 billion to Israel, and $8 billion to the Indo-Pacific region, or otherwise known as Taiwan.
Right.
The final vote was 311 to 112, and like previous spending bills, the package had nothing for things such as enhanced border security or anything that would directly benefit Americans. After the vote was passed, a number of Democrats and Republicans could be seen waving Ukrainian flags, cheering and applauding the bill's passage, and chanting on the floor of the House while waving Ukraine flags.
What did they do? Just somebody stand at the door as everybody came in and hand flags out to everybody?
You see the lady in the red right there? She's the one that came in. I watched her come in. She had a bunch of flags, giving them out to everybody. Yeah. And I want to play a couple of videos here. I want to get your response, Sandy, because you're going to love this. Okay, here we go. Watch this, y'all. So the vote happens. All the ones on the left side there are many of the Democrats. and you see the vote is going up, it's passing. Watch the crowd. He has to call to order.
On this vote, the ayes are 311 and the nays are 112. The bill is passed.
Thank you for that super chat. Yalinak, I appreciate that. We'll just stop and give you
Thank you
some
very much.
appreciation right there. All right, so let's go back and watch this.
Oh,
Listen. This is American.
I missed it, but thank you.
They're waving
Okay.
Ukrainian flags.
The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The chair would remind my colleagues to observe proper decorum. Flag waving on the floor is not appropriate. The House will be in order.
Shortly after that, they begin to chant, Ukraine, 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 on the Senate floor. I mean, the House of Representatives floor. By the way, not America, and not even Israel, but Ukraine.
Exactly.
Now, if you really want your blood to boil, then you got to watch this Democratic senator here. I don't think you've seen this one yet, Senator.
I have not seen this one, no.
Listen to the mindset of American men and women who have been voted to represent our country. Keep in mind what we cover every single week
Yes.
of our southern border when you hear this man. Unbelievable. Listen to this. You are not going to believe this was said on the House floor.
Some say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border. It's the border between depraved autocracy.
Some say we should deal with our border first. The Ukrainian border is our border. This was said shortly after this video. Let's listen one more time.
Come on.
Some say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border.
What?
It's the border between depraved autocracy and freedom-loving people seeking our democratic way of life. Do we have a stake in that outcome? Yes. Undeniably, yes. Will we rise to the occasion? Will we stand shoulder to shoulder with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters?
What about people in Texas?
Hello.
Will we stand shoulder to shoulder with New Mexico and Texas and California and Arizona and every city in America?
How about Maui?
How about Maui? Yeah, exactly. How about East Palestine?
Yeah. How about those guys? Oh, my goodness. But come on. This is the kind of language and the kind of shenanigans that, they get away with all the time. And we understand compassion, but I think he took that a step too far.
That was way too far.
Way too far. And
It would have been one thing
I
for you
think
to
this
say.
needs to get a lot more play.
Yeah, and I think it'd be one thing for him to say, we have an interest in Ukraine, but to lead with, some say we should take care of our border first. The Ukrainian border is our border. What? Unbelievable. Now, look, let me tell you something. Right here on this show, I was excited about Speaker Mike Johnson. I was excited about him. I'm still not ready, like some people, to throw him out. But I'm telling you,
You're on the way.
I am very disappointed in
I think
him.
there's a song,
I don't know what you're talking about.
the theme song to one of the shows. Don't Get Fooled Again.
Oh.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yes. Hey, look, what I'm saying is this, Sandy, and
I hope that's not the case, but
somebody got to him.
somebody got to.
That's all I'm going to say. Somebody got to him because he ain't even talking like the same guy. Listen to this.
Not that possibly he was just a sleeper all along. Somebody got to him.
I think somebody got to him. I think he was. I think he was not who he is now. I think somebody. There's a lot of people say that.
Does it feel like Justice John Roberts all over again?
It sounds like somebody's got something on him and blackmail. But listen to him here.
Process to break the bills into 4 separate measures for consideration, and that is what we will have tomorrow. Everyone can vote their will and their constituents' desires on the Israel aid, the Ukrainian aid, the Indo-Pacific, and then our 4th national security package that has all of our innovations in it. Because we did this process, we got a better outcome here. We have a lot of innovations that the Senate did not consider. We include the Repo Act, which, as you know.
All right, so I heard enough. So he was. This was the same guy that not long ago said we're done with Ukraine.
Yeah,
we're done with Ukraine. And then all of a sudden he comes and says, when we come back from recess, thank you for that super chat, Julie Bracher.
Thank
what
you.
in the world?
Woo! Awesome.
We love you too, Julie.
Yes.
The big picture loves you. Wow, y'all are blowing our minds tonight. That's awesome.
Great. We're
Thank you so much.
Thankful.
But what somebody got to him, say somebody got to him. It's just like I don't know what happened to him.
It's like,
but like you said, he might have been.
Okay, so we come in here, we talk about all these news stories, and you just don't see this coming.
No.
Right? It's very disheartening
Yes.
to have to talk about something like this because, okay, you kind of have a feel on a lot of, there's a lot of different things going on in a lot of different parts of the world. And we feel like we pretty much know who the good guys and the bad guys are.
Yeah.
We feel like we pretty much know where a certain person is going to fall on an issue. But to have something like this seemingly just come out of...
It's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
It's a slap in the face. Y'all, our country, and I don't think I'm telling y'all anything you don't know, we're in a mess. And there is a lot of people struggling financially. I'm telling you, we pastor a church in Birmingham, and we are told things that break our heart every single week.
Sure.
I mean, people are struggling to keep their home. They're not thinking they're going to be able to pay for their vehicle. They're losing their jobs.
Yes.
This is a bad time. And look, it's one thing. I still wouldn't be okay with it. But if you passed the Ukrainian bill and had a little somber look about you, but you chant Ukraine on the floor of the House while waving the flag of another country, and you have people who are homeless that were living in a home just a few months ago, they're living in their cars.
Yes.
They can't even pay for food, and you are chanting. Do you know how much we have given now, Sandy, to Ukraine? Over $200 billion.
Exactly.
To Ukraine.
And the bulk of this, two-thirds or almost two-thirds of this money was to them as well.
But they love to call it the Israel. They want to seize on what's happening in Israel. We got to help Israel. We got to help Israel. So yeah, they put a lot of billions in there, but nothing compared to Ukraine.
Right.
And can I just say this? I'm so sorry for the Ukrainian people, but Ukraine is not going to win.
No.
They're not going to win. And we have taken $200 billion to try to prop up something. Do you know what I heard one person say this week? They said they believe that this administration pushed this through just because everybody knows it's inevitable they're going to lose, but this will prop them up at least through September and October so that they don't have to deal with Ukraine losing right before the election. And they're believing that nobody's going to give them any more money is what they're saying after this because the election's going to happen and it's over. So this was the last push to try to prop them up before the election. It's sickening.
It is sickening.
Well, let's get a little bit more mad.
Very frustrating.
What's this? Nobody's talking about this. While Congress abandons the border, people discovered in the bill $3.5 billion in the Israel bill because they voted on a Ukraine bill, an Israel bill, and a Taiwan bill. In the Israel bill, while Congress failed to pass a border security bill over the weekend amid a flurry of billions in international aid to Ukraine and Israel, they did set aside $3.5 billion. Watch this. In the Israel bill, not for Israel, but for America, for migration and refugee assistance to the State Department to, quote, address humanitarian needs of vulnerable populations and communities.
Look at that boat. My goodness.
Look at that boat. It goes on to say $3.5 billion. This is what the State Department uses to pay NGOs, non-government organizations, coordinating the illegal invasion of our southern border and providing all the freebies. They got it highlighted. They're in the article.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you want your blood to boil while they're chanting on the House floor, waving flags of other countries. They pass an Israel bill for one of our greatest, if not our greatest ally in the world, and certainly in the Middle East, is fighting a real war, they throw in there, not to protect the border, but money to process these people and give these people.
And okay, we're outraged about this. This particular instance is sickening. But how long has this been going on?
Yeah.
Where we sneak things and slide things into bills that few people ever even know about.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Sickening.
And that's why they want to shut down things like this, because this is the first time in our history that we've been able to talk about it.
Not only do they want to shut it down, they are being successful in shutting people down.
They really are. They really are, Sandy. And who knows how long we've got this platform. But as long as we got
everybody else.
Yeah. But as long as we got it, we're going to tell the truth.
Right.
And we ain't going to play with y'all on here.
No.
But, people say, well, that we're sending money. This is what they say. If we don't send money, we're going to have to send troops. Well, guess what? U.S. is now weighing sending additional military advisors, you see the quotations, air quotes,
right,
to Ukraine as Russia gains momentum. So we're going to send them billions of dollars, and now we're sending more military advisors.
While Russia says, if you do this and you send them into the battlefield or the theater, of battle or whatever, they're more than willing to take it to the next level, go to the next step. So provocation, it's not a good situation.
No, it's not.
Very, very dicey.
The U.S. is considering sending additional military advisors to the embassy in Kiev, the latest show of American commitment to Ukraine, as Russia appears to be gaining momentum in the 2-year conflict.
Yeah.
The advisors would not be in a combat role. Oh, no. But rather would advise and support the Ukrainian government and military, according to Pentagon spokesman Major General Pat Ryder. Can I just say this? I have no proof of this, but I don't believe that. I don't believe
you don't believe what they're saying?
I don't believe that we are not actively involved militarily. Do you know intelligence, people that follow what's going on in Ukraine, which, by the way, let's go ahead and ask the same question that we ask all the time. Nobody can prove me wrong. Where is the footage of the war in Ukraine? Where are the YouTube videos right now? When you don't leave yet. Watch us till we're over. But when the big picture's over, I dare you to search embedded reporters in Ukraine, war footage of Ukraine. It don't exist, but yet $200 billion exists.
Right.
Search then search war footage embedded reporters in Israel. You'll see thousands of second by second coverage. You will not see anything about Ukraine. Russia is doing much more than what is being reported. Ukraine is in a mess. Remember when we covered not long ago that part of that last bill that we sent was propping up mom and pop businesses on Main Street?
Oh, yes.
And retirement programs?
I remember when we talked about before that U.S. Military personnel were having to train the Ukrainians on how to operate certain pieces of equipment, and Putin knew that was going on.
Yeah. And
they were not supposed to be doing that. So, and that was many months ago. I can't talk about this without getting so frustrated because it's ridiculous.
All right, I'm looking at this Kevin Rowland comment. I don't know what you're talking about, Kevin. All right, who am I supposed to show respect for? What does that mean? Fix your volume and turn up it on videos. Okay, I don't know what that means. If y'all saying you can't hear my videos,
they cannot hear the videos when they're being played.
All right, okay, whatever. I'll see what I can do on that.
If that's the case, somebody else let us know as well.
Kevin. Let us know if you can't hear the volume. That's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
So I'll try to turn it up. All right, try to have respect. Let's see. All right, let's go on. Netanyahu, we got to move to the Israel war because this is a big one, y'all.
Yes,
this is a very hot war that's about to get hotter. He has said this week, this quite frankly, just within the last couple of days. Hamas has to face painful blows in the coming days. Now, a lot of people have said they didn't believe they were going to go into Rafah. I personally believe they're still going to go into Rafah. I believe Netanyahu is in trouble. I do know he's politically in trouble. They are having what you call them, just not riots, but protests in the streets of Israel against him and his government. And by the way, one of his security officials just stepped down today. I don't know if you knew that. The head of their intelligence stepped down. And so there's some things going on with Netanyahu. He's having a hard time, but I believe he's determined. I believe he realized this is his last shot. He's not going to be prime minister again. He's too old. And whenever his term goes and he's out of office, whether they take him out or vote him out, I believe he realizes that it is time for him to finish what he believes his mission is.
Right.
And I believe that one of the reasons that Iran did what they did when they launched that unprecedented attack from Iran was to stop them from going into Rafah, and they thought they were going to. But I believe he's still going to do it. And I believe that he has made it very clear in the last few weeks, last few days, that he is going to finish the job. But we need to pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the peace of Israel, because they're about to be fighting on a many-front war in all directions.
Yes.
What will America do? What will the peace-loving people of the world do? I don't know. I don't want American soldiers going into battle anywhere.
No.
Whether it's Israel, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Taiwan, China. I don't want to see anybody's life put on the line, our sons and our daughters. What are we going to do? What's going to happen? I agree with you, Billy. I believe Israel will enter Rafah this week, which will be right after Passover. I believe that's what they've been waiting on. And I believe that all of these protests that you're seeing in colleges is combined. It is a combined effort because the world hates Israel.
Yes, they do.
So they're paying money. They're creating this narrative that these are butchers. These people in Israel are just evil people, and they're doing all these evil things. While Amir Safadi and some others are releasing pictures of them going to the beach, of just thousands, tens of thousands of pounds of food stacked up that Israel is bringing in themselves, that is not being delivered to the people of Gaza. We are being told lie after lie. That's why the thumbnail's got what it is. Lies after lies after lies. How are we going to find the truth in all of this?
Exactly. And our own media, they help in this whole scheme. I hate to say scheme, but
it is a scheme.
I mean, they're not telling the absolute truth. They're withholding things. They're misleading people. They propagandize almost everything. You can't believe hardly anything that they report. It's you really need to go to an alt news source.
Yeah, you do.
And I think Amir Sarfati,
he's a good one.
Is a great one.
Yeah, I trust him.
Yeah.
I trust him. He's a believer. He's a Christian. He's a Messianic Jew, and he lives in Galilee.
Yes.
And he's on the ground.
Right.
And he has a mission of making sure that he tells you the truth of what's actually happening. Right. And I really believe. Thank you for that super chat, Farrah.
Hey, Farrah.
Thank you so much. Let's read this right here of what he says here. Israel will inflict painful blows on Hamas in the coming days in an attempt to free the remaining 133 hostages held by terrorist group in the Gaza Strip, Netanyahu said on Sunday. Why is this night different, citizens of Israel? That on this night, 133 of our dear brothers and sisters are not at the Seder table for Passover and are still held captive in the inferno of Hamas. Of course, this is in Hebrew. This was his message that he gave to the Israel people. And he says, we have already freed 124 of our hostages. Listen to the wording. We are committed to returning them all home, the living and the fallen. And I thank you. Thank you for that super sticker, Lacey.
Yes, thanks,
what a
Lacey.
blessing. You are amazing. Thank you so much. But here's the sad news. The sad news is, and I think everybody knows this, but they don't want to say it. They don't want to think it. Most of them not going to make it back home to their families.
It's horrible to think about.
Yeah.
But many people have thought and said that. And hey, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
As terrible as that is to think about.
It is. Do you remember, Sandy, when shortly after the attack on October 7th, it was not long after that one of the leaders of Hamas was heard saying that the reason that they did that when they did and did not wait for as long as Iran wanted them to wait was because they thought the red heifers were going to be sacrificed.
Yes.
And the ashes were going to be burned, and they were going to begin. Of course, we know that means the dedication of the rebuilding of the temple, which would be the third temple. Well, this just went under the radar because, this is Passover, okay? We understand as believers, let's just make it very clear, as believers, we accept Jesus Christ as our Messiah. John the Baptist said it this way, behold the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. Jesus died on Passover.
Yes.
Okay, so we believe that he's the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Now, the Jewish people who do not accept Jesus as their Messiah still believe in the Old Testament principle. They still go through the Seder meal. But animal sacrifices stopped even before the destruction of the temple fully. There were some that were still doing it, shortly after the death and burial and resurrection of Jesus, I should say. And the temple was destroyed in AD 70. But we don't know exactly. We have a theory of when animal sacrifices stopped. But this is what's happening in Israel. Look what happened this week. This is amazing to me. Police arrest multiple people in Jerusalem on suspicions of planning Passover sacrifices. Police in Jerusalem arrested 21 individuals suspected of planning a Passover sacrifice in Jerusalem. Look at this here. It says police arrested them, and the legal center of this organization was notified of 8 arrests since Monday morning and a suspicion of planning to sacrifice a Passover offering. 2 brothers, minors, aged 17 and 15, were arrested on Monday at Mordecai area of Jerusalem Central Unit on suspicion of planning to offer a Passover sacrifice. The 2 were arrested with goats and taken to the central office. Watch this. 2 more suspects, also age 17, were arrested with goats in the square of the city. The other suspects were arrested in various locations throughout the city of Jerusalem, some of them arrested with goats. All 8 of the suspects were represented by these attorneys. Now, this is a stock photo here of this woman with a stroller and a cigarette in her hand, which is weird. But they go on to say that one of the people had a stroller with a goat in it and trying to pretend that it's a baby.
So young.
To take it up on the Temple Mount. Wow. Boldly and sacrifice lambs.
Okay.
What is going on? Thank you for that super sticker. DRW, you on fire tonight.
DRW, my goodness. Wow.
You're on fire.
Nice. Having been up on the Temple Mount just last year and knowing what it's like up there and Jordanian soldiers, they're walking around with weapons strapped
Machine
to them, the full body plexiglass shields. I mean, I couldn't not even imagine them having to use all that equipment. But knowing there are others that are just kind of there, but not doing anything, but probably ready to spring into action should they want to protest someone like this coming up there and attempting to offer sacrifice. If it got to that point, wow.
Well, can you remember they told us that they wouldn't even allow us to raise our hands and say the name Jesus up there. Yeah. But so these are not just people. These are Israelis that arrested Israelis.
Exactly, and they arrested them to keep the peace and to keep something from going crazy and sideways because here you have the Jordanians policing the Temple Mount, but you have Al-Aqsa Mosque right there. Yep. You have Jewish people who I didn't see a lot of any, type of person, but there are tons and tons of tourists coming in and out, moving in and out constantly as part of their trip. So heavily relying on tourism and committed to keeping the peace. Of course, they had to arrest these people just so that nothing crazy broke out.
Yeah. But you pointed out, you said so young.
So young.
I mean, you
What?
just think about what
I would expect this to be a 35 or a 45-year-old person,
or even
much
an older
older
Hasidic Jew,
Right.
you know, with the long beard. I could just see him going, "I'm going to sacrifice the lamb." I know all my accents are horrible, but yeah.
But yeah, this is very interesting. That the fact that all of them were young was a theme in this story.
Yeah.
The story's interesting just in and of itself. But
I think it's just indicative of the world we live in. Our young people across the board are just ready to get something going. They're whatever they believe in, they're either going all the way in, or it's strange to me how people our generation are just sort of straddling the fence. You know, don't want to upset the apple cart. This younger generation, they're either completely apathetic, they don't have nothing to do with anything, they just want to stay on their phones, or they go all in on something. And so they're trying to get something going. You know, even in our church, think about how many young people are leading the worship and the fire of God. I'm telling you, I just want to say something, stop right here and just say, this generation is not a lost cause. If you'll tell them the truth and give them the real thing, they are hungry for the real thing. And if you don't give them something supernatural, if you don't give them something that's bigger than them, bigger than the world that they're living in, the world is lining up to give them something.
certainly.
Well,
You telling it now, brother.
I feel the preacher coming on. I could preach this news article, but I don't want to preach these because these are bad news. I want to preach good news.
Yes. Save the preaching for the good news.
That is the gospel. Good news. Let's get back into the news. The Chinese government, according to the FBI, and how bad is this? That these are things that we really need to take seriously. But when it says according to the FBI, I'm just like, okay, then what do you really want me to know? Because I don't trust you, FBI. Sorry. Did you hear that, NSA? NSA, are you listening? FBI, are you listening? CIA, are you listening? All of you.
They're all listening.
Are you listening to everything I'm saying?
Yes.
Put it in my file.
Alphabet soup.
Chinese government poses broad and unrelenting threat to U.S. critical infrastructure, FBI director says. Partnerships, joint operations, and private sector vigilance can help us fight back. The FBI needs our help. Christopher Wray said on April 18th that he warned that national security and intelligence experts, as well as students, that risks the government of China poses to U.S. national and economic security are upon us now, and that U.S. critical infrastructure is a prime target. The People's Republic of China has made it clear that it considers every sector that makes our society, this is still the director of the FBI talking, this week, that every sector that makes our society run as fair game in its bid to dominate on the world stage, and that its plan is to land low blows against civilian infrastructure to try to induce pain and break America's will, and break America's will to resist.
He's been on this theme. I know you need to say some more about this article. He's been on this theme of we're at the highest level.
Thank you for that super chat proxy, Joseph.
Nice. You guys are awesome. Wow.
Man.
Sweet.
Y'all are amazing. I'm sorry I didn't interrupt you. I got to honor them when they do that. Go ahead. Keep going. Yeah.
We've been talking for weeks about we're on the most heightened level or alert level or state of alert. And this just goes right along with that.
Yes, it does.
But he's talking about these critical infrastructure. We're talking about water purification facilities.
Yep.
We're talking about the electricity, the substations, all these high velocity lines, all of this infrastructure that we need to keep society moving along so that there's not these horrible interruptions where you can't go to the store and swipe your card. All of it is what he's talking about.
Well, we're seeing it on a daily basis with little tiny things like our phones.
Oh, yes.
Our phones, I'm really interested in the live chat in the comments. Are you seeing in the last few months, and even weeks in particular, but the last few months, absolutely 100% without a doubt, your phone signal is dropping more than ever.
Yeah.
Your data is getting slower. Something is going on, y'all. They are rolling out, just like where they have the rolling blackouts. They are rolling these cyber attacks. They are hitting this one and hitting that one. They're making sure they got their hands on all of it.
Yes.
Look at what this article goes on to say. The FBI director says the fact is, the People's Republic of China are targeting our infrastructure. Their target is both broad and unrelenting. I mean, these are words that you have not heard coming from our country since when we were in high school with the Cold War against Russia.
Right.
But it's like we're just tiptoeing through the tulips and just
okay. So this is probably a good time to bring up what I was talking to you about a couple of days ago. As you know, we're pretty avid listeners of Mike from Around the World on Paul Begley's channel. And if you don't listen to him, he's on Thursday nights and you should check him out. But one of the things he was talking about this past Thursday is that some of these different attacks that are going on are not hacks. It's not a matter of being hacked into, that it's hardware problems.
Wow.
That the hardware has been somehow infiltrated, as in, well, you know, a lot of products that we use in this country come from you know where.
Yep.
So, of course, there are hacks. There's even people holding systems and information for ransom so that they can get paid for the hack. But then you have attacks like this, hardware hacks. And that's a whole other thing. That's a whole different thing.
Thank you for that super sticker, Willow.
Yay!
What a blessing. What a blessing. We heard from Birmingham, Alabama. I don't know. I have not heard yet, but I think the city of Birmingham, which is our main city, is still under control of one of these kind of ransom hacks. It's been weeks, if not over a month.
Many weeks.
And this is happening all over. I'm seeing in the live chat people saying yes, 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 yes on my phone.
Yeah.
And what you're saying, Sandy, is very important for y'all to get what she's saying, is that not just the hack of the systems, but the components. Yeah. It's like they came pre-hacked.
We get some complete products, but then you also get components as well. And if they've been tampered with, then they already have a back door into whatever.
Yeah, and even American-made things that we just say, that's made in America, that's probably made in America. All it really takes is one component that came from a hostile country that has hostile intentions to throw off that whole American-made thing. That is the world we live in, y'all. And it's not getting better. No. It's getting worse. And that's the truth. And I see your comments. Fearmonger. I'm not talking about right now, but everything we do, we always get people say that, and they want to say, you're just playing on the fears of people, all this kind of stuff. No, but these are concerning things. These are things that you need to be concerned about. Right. And quite frankly, if you didn't hear them here in a few other places like this, you wouldn't even know they're existing while they are chipping away at your freedoms and chipping away at your livelihood.
Yep. And, we're told that the majority of the chips are made in Taiwan.
Right. Think about that.
That's probably true.
Think about it.
But how many of those are shipped to mainland China, combined with whatever to make products or to be a part of other components? I mean, we have these components and these parts, they're not just in appliances. They're probably sent to the power companies. Yep. In all the big infrastructure that they have, in different types of government infrastructure, in different types of large pieces of corporate machinery and infrastructure. I mean, who knows where it starts and where it ends? Right. So I could see where not only hacking, but just having straight back doors into corporations, into government, into your residential home could be possible.
Absolutely. If you've not smashed that like button, either on Rumble or YouTube, do it now. Smash it, smash it, smash it. Show some love. You guys are showing us all kinds of love tonight. We appreciate it.
Yes, very, very much.
We show up every week because we believe in the truth. We show up every week because we love you guys, and we want to make sure you're informed. And we know what you're doing is you're trying to inform your family. Now, I know a lot of you, you're the black sheep of your family. Nobody wants to talk with you about anything when it gets to this. Because they think, oh, here they come. Here comes that crazy conspiracy theorist again. But I think a lot of people are finally waking up and saying, hey, the conspiracy theorists are batting a pretty good average right now. I think a lot of those things, I don't even think we need to call them conspiracy theorists anymore. Maybe it's just be conspiracy tellers, speakers of truth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That term, even the term conspiracy theorist, was supposedly created by the CIA.
I have heard that.
And famously used by Hillary Clinton, of course.
I certainly. Boy, did you hear what she said this week about Trump?
No, I did not.
She literally said that Trump wants to be like Putin and he wants to kill his opponents. Literally said that. Wants to kill his opponent. And we all know what that ultimately is trying to make happen. So that's all I'm going to say before I get in more trouble. But you know what? When there's so much chaos going on in our world that we forget about the chaos that's going on in our world. Did you know that Haiti is still going through what they're going through? And we have not covered them in a few weeks, but we need to go back and look at this.
Yes.
Haiti's capital has been rocked by a fresh wave of violence as warlord Barbecue, we've talked about him, ordered his thug army to burn every house you find.
I had not seen this story.
Yep. Gun battles are raging in central Port-au-Prince as ruthless gangs march towards the presidential palace, burning, looting, and killing amid fears that they are plotting a bloody coup. And you can see the streets there, pictures that are there going on in Haiti. Just watch this little video here, just a couple of seconds of it. Basically, just showing everywhere you turn, there's chaos.
Yep.
That's what's going on, and
imagine every evil thing imaginable going on there.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And what they're doing is now they're still continuing to try to leave the country, come to America,
of course,
by boat.
Total fear, starvation. Yep. They probably need medical care. Worried that your child is going to be kidnapped and put into some kind of trafficking.
Yep.
That you're going to be killed for no reason.
Officials now believe that 90% of the capital is controlled by once warring gangs who loosely unified to spark a new dawn of violence at the end of February. And, of course, we've covered this guy named Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier, who is the head of Haiti's most powerful gang alliance and now leader of the armed onslaught against his home city. And it goes on to, it says that he commanded them to continue burning the houses, make everyone leave. No need to know which house, burn every house you find, set the fire. Wow. So, I guess we need to tell you why his name is Barbecue. His name is Barbecue not just because he burns everything that he goes into, but he is believed to be the leader of a group of cannibals.
Right.
And, that's a horrible thing. Yeah. And this is also a horrible thing, but it's also a little bit funny. And I'm sorry. I know you didn't think I was going to show this. And when I say funny, it's
Raise
not
your
it's
hand
not
out
funny.
there if you've already
funny.
seen this.
I shouldn't have said it's funny. But the president of the United States was giving a speech this week, and he was trying to talk about his brother who was shot down in war.
Was it his brother?
Well, no, it was his uncle. His uncle. It was his uncle, not his brother. His uncle. His uncle was shot down in war. And what was the country? Over, I can't think of the country, but.
Was it not somewhere in the Caribbean, was it?
I don't know.
Just play
but where there are believed to have been and still believed to be tribes of cannibals.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally said, my uncle, boy, will I get flagged for saying this? I don't know. My uncle was eaten by cannibals, which was absolutely not true. But
You don't have the clip of him saying it. You just have the.
I have the clip of the press conference
okay.
when Steve Ducey, not Steve Ducey.
Ducey. It's actually Peter Ducey, the son.
Oh, his son, yeah. At least I didn't say.
Okay.
Yeah. He asked Kareem Jean-Pierre about this. And I don't even know what to say about old KJP, but I tell you what, whoever prints her binder, they're like psychic or something, because they seem to know what is going to be asked. And when she gets in that situation, she just looks down, reads the binder.
I do have to ask you about a different topic.
Oh.
Why is President Biden saying that his uncle Bozie was eaten by cannibals?
So, I answered
Let me find
this
that
question
page. Hang on. Let me
yesterday.
find that page.
I believe I've seen some clips on your network about me answering this question. I don't have much to say beyond what I said to some of your colleagues. Look, I was there. I think you
I'm going to try
traveled
not
with
to
us
laugh.
to Pennsylvania.
Don't
I'm not
laugh,
sure if you
man.
were
Don't laugh. It's a
there
serious
at the
thing.
Memorial in Scranton. The president had a
An emotional moment.
and I think a symbolic moment. He had an opportunity as president to honor his uncle's service in uniform. He had an opportunity to be there as president to speak to.
This is a master class on saying things
Sidestepping.
without saying
Exactly.
anything. I've never seen a human being answer a question.
Do the dance and sidestep. Oh my goodness! But wait till the.
You want me to play it all, or you want me to just fast
Well,
forward to it?
play a little bit. But we definitely need to get the ending.
Okay, all right.
I think
okay.
it's the ending.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it's not quite to the
The
end.
president highlighted his uncle's story as he made the case.
By the way, I just fast forward. She's still going on, not addressing the question at all.
Sacred commitment.
The sacred commitment again.
Equip those we send to war and take care of them and their families when they come home. And as he iterated, the last thing American veterans are, or the last thing Americans should be called, are suckers and losers. And
Do you know what that was?
is-
That was a shot at Trump. Everything's always about Trump. So at the end, she goes, but I want to remind you that the former president called somebody suckers and trumps, which, by the way, he didn't. The people that was in the helicopter said, he never said it. It's another one of the lies. But they everything's Trump's fault.
Those types of words should not come from a commander-in-chief, as we have in the past. And we should actually be lifting up our American veterans and honoring them. And that's what you said.
Oh, God.
And I agree. Second
I hear it.
Lieutenant Ambrose J. Finnegan was a war hero, but the Pentagon says, for unknown reasons, the plane was forced to ditch in the ocean. Both engines failed at low altitude. Why is President Biden saying he was shot down? There's no evidence of that. And
No
why
evidence
is he
of that.
saying that his uncle was eaten by cannibals?
by
That is
cannibals.
a bad way to go.
That's a
lost
bad way
his
to go.
life. It's not. Look, I'm not. We should not make jokes about
It's
this.
not.
Wait.
President Biden
Wait,
said
Pete,
his uncle
no,
was eaten
Pete.
by
I mean,
cannibals.
your last line it's for a laugh. It's for a funny statement, and he takes this very seriously. His uncle, who served and protected this country,
Yes.
lost his life serving, and that should matter.
That
We have a
matters.
president that
Does matter.
lifts up our U.S. troops, our American veterans every day, who thinks about them, who actually thinks they're all heroes, and they are. And you have a former president
There he goes, back to
who
Trump.
disrespects that, who doesn't honor that.
Like you said,
Said it
master
as
class.
president,
Master
suckers
class.
or losers. That's
And then, then he goes, I'm not making a joke. He said it. Why did he say it?
Yeah,
I'm not going to address that. He's an honorable man.
Yeah.
He had an emotional
He
moment.
should have said, "Does this have anything to do with corn pop?"
Well, somebody. There's a lot of corn
Oh, I know.
pop comments that I'm not going to read them, but they're really
But
good.
yeah, this,
Look, y'all. We've both gone through things with our family
yes,
where we've both our mothers have gone through this. My grandfather went through this. Many of my uncles and aunts have had this same horrible disease. We are not laughing at this disease. We are literally laughing to keep from crying that we are a country supposedly the greatest country in the history of the world, the most powerful country in the history of the world,
Right.
the beacon of freedom, the nation that is supposed to be leading the rest of the world.
Yes.
We are being led by a person that somebody needs to have compassion on him in his family, I'm saying,
Yes.
and take care of him in his family instead of propping him up,
Right.
knowing, we all know that he is not leading this country. We all know that.
Right.
Do we not all know that? Do we not all know that he is not leading this country?
Those who are paying attention and are willing to admit, yes, they know, but it's all about the power. I mean, they can't allow him to be removed, even though he is prone to get up there and say things that embarrass himself, this country, and things that are quite possibly not true at all. And this is just another example of it. And when it happens, what are people like Karine Jean-Pierre forced to do?
Yeah, yeah.
They have to cover it up. They have to they have to divert. They have to detract from it because you can't hit that head on.
No.
You cannot answer that question.
Well, they got to get paid. They want to get their job. They want to get their money. And you have all these people. It's just like when you surround yourself with nothing but yes men, and you're powerful and you got money and you're famous, everybody around you wants to keep you powerful and keep you famous and keep the money rolling.
Got to keep the machine going.
It's got to keep it going. But I think if there's ever been an example, and we're going to move on after this statement, if there's ever been an example that there really is something called the deep state, it has been this presidency. Ooh. The last presidency called it out, and people thought he was crazy. But I'm telling you right now, there is another group that is running this country. Yeah. And by the way, they're Republicans and they're Democrats. They're not. They are both sides, y'all. It is the uniparty that is really running this.
We talk about the uniparty. I don't think we talk about it enough, though.
No, we don't.
Probably could mention it even more.
You okay? Need a break? You all right?
I'm soldiering on.
You're soldiering on. Are y'all not proud of her?
Sorry if I'm squirming.
She's still doing it.
It is a little tough.
She had full knee replacement, for those who don't know, and she's strong and she's getting stronger, and we appreciate your prayers. Did you hear about what happened over in Dubai with the floods? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about
We talk about weather war here, and there's no way we can prove that, but something
they're beginning
pretty devastating did happen.
Yeah, they're beginning to admit some things. This article is from the Atlantic. We can manipulate the atmosphere like never before. Now it's mainstream to say it. Interfering with Earth's climate system is becoming more possible and less predictable than ever. And it goes on to say, after a deluge of record-breaking rainfall this week, citizens of the United Arab Emirates and Oman are still trying to return to regular life. The storms forced schools, offices, and businesses to close, transformed the tarmac of Dubai's international airport into a rippling sea, and killed, unfortunately, more than 20 people so far across both nations. The downpour seemed almost apocalyptic. On Tuesday, the UAE received the amount of rain that usually falls in an entire year. Yeah. Early reports of the weather event prompted some speculation that it was worsened by a controversial weather modification technology. This practice, known as cloud seeding, involves spraying compounds into the air in an effort to bring more rain out of the sky. Goes on to just further explain that. So, otherwise known as chemtrails to some extent. So,
I don't know if this article says it, but I was reading or listening to a news report several days ago, and I think they said 7 days of this ice nucleation, these chemtrails. Mm-hmm. My goodness, what do you think is going to happen? Maybe they expected it to be bad, maybe not this bad. Maybe they didn't know that it would be anything like this, but come on.
Exactly.
And if you haven't seen the pictures and videos,
it's unreal.
They're crazy. It is quite astounding.
And I'm going to show you some video in just a second, but I want to read this right here because some of you are thinking, boy, I tell you what, this is some new technology. In the case of cloud seeding, we're not necessarily talking about chemtrails particularly and all that comes in that. But the case of cloud seeding, humans have been playing God for decades. The technique dates back to the 1940s and has been deployed regularly around the world to provide relief to regions parched by drought, clear skies ahead of the Olympic Games, and give ski resorts an extra inch of snow.
Yep.
Scientists have been studying cloud seeding all along, but they have only recently managed to document how the technique might actually work. Yeah, right. Distinguish between the natural precipitation and precipitation that resulted from human intervention. So basically, this is the way I watched the video that they try to explain it in Dubai. Every day we send up planes. They openly are saying this. Their government. Every day we send up planes searching for the ideal clouds. And when we see a cloud that meets our specifications, we fly into the cloud and we shoot salt pellets in it, and then it rains. And he's making this big deal about it. Some of you have seen the video. He goes, but don't worry. If you live in Dubai, you know how we live. Just go inside for about an hour. We're going to get us some rain. It's going to help our crops. It's going to help our drinking water. Then you can come back out to a beautiful sunny day. So that's just how we live here. But the term they used was playing God, Sandy, and that's what they're doing. And when
well,
you start
except
playing,
this time 20 people died, and who knows the dollar amount of the economic impact from all the damage.
Exactly. We was talking about the video. Let's just watch a little video here. Here, let's see this. Look at this.
Now, where is this?
What this is in a different country.
China. Is this?
This is China. Yeah. So they're cloud seeding in China as well. So that was Dubai last week. Now China is flooding this week. There's some pictures from China.
Look at that.
Cloud seeding in China. They're going to try to tell you that it's not cloud seeding, but they go on in the article to tell you that's exactly what it is. Wow. I'm going to stop the video. So at least 3 people in China have died, with 11 missing after severe floods seen a once-in-a-century flood wreaking havoc in China. Look at this. This is happening all around the world. Now, here's what I want to say is I can't believe that I guess they're being forced to admit this cloud seeding thing, because this is a perfect thing for them to blame on climate change. But something is going on to cause them not to immediately hush the cloud seeding and say, look what climate change has done to Dubai. Look what climate change is doing to China. Why? This is my mind. Why are they not saying that? Because that's the usual narrative. Why are they telling us, could this be, or asking questions, could this be tied to cloud seeding? What do you think's going on there?
I don't know, but it is a little bit of a sinister, wicked. Look at that.
Yeah, this is in China, y'all.
I mean, a lot of the people are already impoverished, and to have damage like this, where your car is just floating away, and the streets are destroyed, it's terrible, 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 terrible.
Look at all this. It's all over this entire portion. China's gigantic. It's happening all over that whole entire huge section of China.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. And that's, look, you got to automatically be skeptical of China. There's probably more than 3. Probably more than 3 people that perished, because China's not ever going to let you know just how bad it is. Speaking of China, a lot of people believe that China has what many countries supposedly have, and that's earthquake causing weapons. And it wasn't that long ago, was it last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that, a major earthquake hit off the shore of Taiwan.
I think it was about 2 weeks ago.
And it caused tsunami warnings to happen in Japan, and a lot of damage in Taiwan. And some people were speculating, because it happened right on the other side of Taiwan. So you got China here, you got Taiwan here. That earthquake happened right here in the sea. Well, guess what happened again yesterday? A 6.3 earthquake happened again on the other side, not the China side, but on the other side.
Right.
6.3 magnitude earthquake hits Taiwan, shook buildings in the capital of Taipei, and it goes on to say more than 80 earthquakes, the strongest being a 6.3, struck Taiwan's east coast starting Monday night into the early hours of Tuesday, and which would mean they were ahead of us. Yes. So that just happened, causing shaking of buildings. The quakes were centered in a largely rural eastern county of Hualien, where April 3rd, at least 14 people died of a 7.2 that we just talked about. Taiwan has been jolted by hundreds of aftershocks since. So a lot of people are believing that this could be natural. This could just be something, because this is a hotbed zone for earthquakes, always has been. Is this China preparing, doing damage to that area, preparing for their takeover? What is your thoughts?
Well, you know my thoughts and my leanings, but some people will tell you absolutely there are weapons that can cause earthquakes. And I have to refer back to several months ago on Redacted when they had the guest that had been a contract worker in Antarctica, and he said he found out that
Listen to this.
that was absolutely true.
Yep.
That they have a weapon down there that they first fired up in 2008, and that it caused the Christchurch, New Zealand earthquake, which was a very serious earthquake.
He emphatically said it absolutely did. I was there. It caused the earthquake. They were saying it in his words. This is one man saying his words in the place in Antarctica was saying they knew they had caused that earthquake in New Zealand.
Yep. Crazy.
What is that weapon called? You know what it's called.
I can't remember what they called it, but it's some type of energy type weapon. And I wish I could remember his. I think his name is Eric Hecker.
Yeah,
Hecker.
What's that guy's name? That podcast I like, Sean
Ryan.
We watched him on Sean Ryan. You can watch the interview there. You can search.
Is that where I saw it? Not Redacted?
No, he might have been on Redacted, but the interview we watched, he was on Sean Ryan's podcast.
But anyway, yeah, if you can look that up and find it,
it's very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, tonight we call this this podcast, this show, it's all lies. And they've just, and everything we've covered to you tonight is just showing you how thing after thing after thing, it's always a distraction. It's always, you never get the truth. And so some of you have heard about the FISA warrant law was up for renewing. And a lot of people were trying to say, we need to kill this thing. Well, it got passed. Now, the spin has been that FISA is the technology that we use to spy on our enemies. But we know, because of Donald Trump and some others, that FISA was used to spy on our own citizens.
Well, we know because of Edward Snowden.
Edward Snowden.
All the way back. What year was that?
Well,
2013?
It's probably in this article.
Okay.
Because Edward Snowden has now come out this week and warns the NSA is just days away from taking over the internet with the renewal and the signing of the new FISA Act. After the United States and the House of Representatives moved forward on the renewal and updated FISA Act in a bipartisan vote, remember, Republicans and Democrats did it, the Senate is expected to pass it this week in President Biden's desk before it expires on April 19th, which is already done. As covered in an earlier Wine Press report, blah, 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 it talks about it. But it says the Senate is set to soon vote on this likely bill that is the renewal of it. I want to get down here and I just want to read to you what Snowden said, if I can find that. Here it is. Edward Snowden on X and tweeted, says it's just days from taking over the internet and it's not on the front page of any newspaper. Because no one has even noticed. And it says, if the bill becomes law, this is from I believe a representative, maybe a senator, I believe it's a representative, House representative. If this bill becomes law, listen to this, any company or individual that provides any service whatsoever may be forced to assist in the NSA surveillance, as long as they have access to equipment on which communications are transmitted or stored, such as routers, servers, and cell towers. He goes on to explain, that sweeps an enormous range of U.S. businesses that provide Wi-Fi to their customers and therefore have access to equipment on which communications transit. Barbershops, laundromats, fitness centers, hardware stores, dentist offices. These will all be subject to being taken over by the NSA and forced to be used to surveillance of someone who's in the laundromat, someone who's in the coffee shop, someone who's in the mechanic's office waiting on their car to be fixed. If they have a Wi-Fi router that is connected to the internet, this FISA law gives the government the right to hack that router if they believe someone in that store is someone they need to track. They will be able to access what they're looking at on their phone, what they're reading, and listen to their conversations, quote unquote, if they're connected to that Wi-Fi. Thank you for that super chat, Gen C.
Yay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So when we were talking about this article earlier today, my comment to you was, have we not been seeing them doing that in the movies and television for years?
Here we go again. Here we go again.
I mean, how many times have you seen someone sitting at a terminal and whoever is over them, whoever their leader or commander is, spouts off an order, hack into that camera and see where they're going, see what they're doing.
Yep.
So is this really a revelation?
No, the only revelation is that it's being said openly. It's been going on forever, but
at least in the movies.
and I believe it's been going on too. And here's the thing: when you pass a bill, that's why it's news now. Is because you're authorizing officially, giving the government while we are. Taylor Swift's got a new album. Woo, Taylor Swift. Everybody go download Taylor Swift's album. Yeah. FISA just got authority to go in your house, to go in your business and listen and watch everything you're doing. They might have been doing that illegally. Yeah. FISA just got passed to do it legally. And the only one, I'm not saying is a saint. I don't even know that much about him. No. But the only one that is telling you about it is the guy that our government probably tried to unalive. And he's in exile, Edward Snowden. I'm not saying he's a great guy, but I'm telling you, he's the one that told us this was going on, and they wanted to unalive him. I said it.
He just said that.
I said it. Well, let me tell you something else. We're going to show you a couple of clips tonight from a recent interview that Tucker Carlson was a guest on the Joe Rogan show. I always have to say this when I talk about Joe Rogan. I do not endorse Joe Rogan. I do not endorse Tucker Carlson. I'm not guaranteeing that you will not hear some language. Okay? Yeah. If you hear some language, it is...
Might hear some words.
Some words. I don't have a bleep thing because we're doing it live. Just excuse that. But there's some information going on. Whatever you believe about Tucker Carlson, let me just tell you this. I'm not saying that everything about him is on the up and up either. But he started talking about some things on his show when he was on Fox News that Sandy and I would walk in, we'd just have it on playing or something. We'd just going through the house and we'd just stop at each other and going, how in the world is he still on the air? Because he's saying things about UFOs. He's saying things about aliens. He's saying things about government overreach that no one else is saying. Well, lo and behold, he was gone.
The one thing about him that definitely stood out to me is the UFO. He was, for whatever reason, the anointed person to talk about UFOs. Yeah. He was the first person that I ever saw have a serious story. And I'll never forget it. It was in December of 2017 when he brought out that Tic Tac UFO footage. Yep. And the Luis Elizondo and the is it Blink 187 and the To the Stars Academy, and all that began to unfold. And I didn't see anybody else. Not only was nobody else talking about it and having those kinds of interviews, you didn't even see an uproar to him having that at first. Right, now, it has gained traction since then. But then, ever so often, you would see him have somebody else come on and do another interview and talk about UFOs and aliens and all that. And, you know, his path just we all know what happened to him.
Yep.
He got fired
Right.
because not only was he talking about UFOs, but he started taking a stronger stand on other topics,
including his
other
faith
areas.
In faith, his
and
faith,
it
yeah.
finally just built to the place to where they just weren't dealing with him anymore.
Right.
But yeah.
So the interview, you'll hear a lot of F words if you watch the whole interview. Let's just tell it like it is. It's Joe Rogan. That thing is like almost 3.5 hours long. I mean, wow. So much stuff they talk about. Some of it's just silliness, but a lot of it is just thing after thing after thing after thing that he's telling Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan is just like a lot of times going, brother, you really believe that? How you know that?
Blink 182. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't listen to them, so I don't know any of their music or them.
I don't even know. When I heard Blink 182, I didn't know what you're talking about. Blink 182 is
182.
Who are they?
It's they're a band. I don't.
Oh, I thought they were UFO experts.
No, Blink 182 is a band,
Okay, I
but
didn't know.
Tom DeLonge, who was he the band leader? He went on to create, I think, To the Stars Academy.
What's he got to do with UFOs?
Because he's all up in this now.
Oh, he is.
And he
Okay.
created
Oh, I didn't know.
To the Stars Academy, which
Okay.
is a whole part of all this reveal and everything.
Okay.
But
Cool.
yeah, he gained popularity starting in 2017 with the whole rollout of the Tic Tac UFO footage and Luis Elizondo and all that. So.
Okay. Well, we're going to show you at the end of the program. So stay to the end. We're coming on the backside here. That's what we're going to show you. We're going to show you what he says about aliens is unreal. I mean, nobody's ever said this on that kind of platform before, on that big of a platform. And Joe Rogan is just like, you just watch his eyes. But I wanted to also show you another clip. And I'm sure I'm getting all kinds of flags left and right on this show tonight.
Not you.
Because they don't want this to be out. But what Tucker Carlson says that he has been told by people on the inside of what actually happened to Richard Nixon is right on line about what we're talking about. You just said they've been doing this all along. Well, what was Richard Nixon? Early 70s? Mid 70s when all this went down?
73,
Okay.
4.
Listen
like
to
that.
what he says to Joe Rogan about what actually happened. This is a provable thing now. And you've watched the movie, what was the name of that movie? Something about Good Men or something where
It's not all the King's Men, is it?
something like that. And it's about the two reporters, Woodward and Bernstein.
Mm-hmm.
And they supposedly had this secret source named Deep Throat. Mm-hmm. And of course, right before he died, he supposedly admitted who he was. Well, a lot of information came out. I don't think I've ever heard anybody on this level of platform say this about Bob Woodward. And I wonder how many of you did not know what you're about to hear.
The New York Times wouldn't have an issue with that.
Well, the New York Times does that all the time.
But bizarre
it to
that
me
they wouldn't
again.
have an issue with the government tapping into your phone.
They work for the government. Are you kidding?
Right.
The New York.
So they're talking about the FISA law and everything that we're talking about. But listen to what he says. They don't have a problem with this. And then he goes in to say, well, look what they did to Richard Nixon. Listen to this.
Times? Yeah, the New York Times is a conduit for the lies of government. That's what it is. It's their tool, and they're perfectly aware of that. I mean, I used to write for the New York Times as a freelancer. I mean, I've been around the New York Times a lot, and there are a lot of really smart people there, for sure. Even now, I would less so now, but there's still, I think, smart people there. There are. I know some, and they know. But they think that it's worth it because they're bringing information. Or I don't know what they think actually. But no, they're tools of power, and that's like the one thing that you're not allowed to be. Even if you think the power is good, like maybe they all support the agenda of the U.S. government, destabilizing the world and impoverishing their own population. Maybe they're on board with that. Even if they are, they shouldn't do it because the job of the media, the press, is to keep power in check. You are kind of like the seatbelt, right?
Right.
You make sure that things don't go too far. So, and they're not doing that. They're acting as a willing handmaiden.
When do you think that
power.
switched?
Well, I think it's been the case for a long time. I mean, if you look at what happened to Richard Nixon, which I, of course, did not understand at all, Richard Nixon was taken out by the FBI and CIA, and with the help of Bob Woodward, who was a Washington Post reporter who had been a naval intelligence officer.
Okay, I'm sure some people out there did know that, but a lot of people didn't know what he's about to say about Bob Woodward because he is heralded as this amazing reporter, and that's all he's ever heralded as. Listen to this.
Working in the White House, working in the Nixon White House. And then he shows up like a year later, and he's this brand new reporter. He'd never been a journalist at all. He's a naval intel officer, the famous Bob Woodward we all revere. And he's at the Washington Post, and somehow he gets the biggest story in the history of the Washington Post. He's the lead guy in that story. Well, I worked at a newspaper. I've been in the news business my whole life. That is not how it works. You don't take a kid like his first day from a totally unrelated business and put him on the biggest story. Mm-hmm. But he was. He was that guy. And who is his main source for Watergate? Oh, the number 2 guy at the FBI. Oh, so you have the naval intelligence officer working with the FBI official to destroy the president. Okay, so that's a deep state coup.
I don't want to play it all because it's a little bit long. But so you're talking about no one really ever reveals that. And it's never revealed in that movie. That's about all this went down.
No.
That 1 year prior to Watergate's story, Bob Woodward was working in the Nixon administration as a naval intelligence person. He becomes the star reporter with Bernstein, and they break this. He goes on in this clip to say, why did they do that to Nixon? And this is what he says, Sandy. He says, because Nixon was asking questions about who really killed Kennedy.
Yikes.
Apparently, you can't ask questions.
Certain things can't talk about.
Mm.
I mean, that doesn't go completely hand in hand, but it brings to mind that the president, it doesn't matter who the president is, which president it is.
Right.
You're not going to get access to top secret information about UFOs, whatever it is they have or whatever it is they know.
Yep.
They're not telling you,
Exactly.
the president, because it's many levels of clearance above the president's head.
Yeah, well, we've even had presidents on talk shows when they're asked about that say that. That's above my pay grade, and they just sort of laugh it off. Mm-hmm. They don't tell me stuff like that. And we used to laugh it off too, but now we're going back and watching those clips, and we're like, they were telling us the truth. Yeah. They're the president of the United States, and they don't know things that are going on in our government.
Well, Bill Clinton famously said it. They didn't tell me either, and I want to know.
Right. Well, I even heard Donald Trump say, he told them, tell me. And they supposedly told him something, from what I hear, and he supposedly saw something, and it made him stop asking questions. After he said, I don't want to know anything after that. I don't know.
We've talked about Donald Trump in the sense that I think he does have access to knowledge that other presidents haven't had, in the capacity of that his uncle was John George Trump.
Think about that.
And had his hands and eyes on some of Tesla's prized papers and work.
Yep.
God only knows what he saw. And there's probably a good chance he let Donald Trump in on what he saw.
You would think so. Well, let's move on. And by the way, stay with us to the end, because when you hear what Tucker Carlson tells Joe Rogan about aliens, of what he's been told and what he's seen, it's really, really eye-opening. But continuing on this whole thing about what our government is doing, Big Brother in training, how this proposed legislation might pave the way to online age verification and digital ID. Bipartisan legislative efforts are underway in the U.S. House of Representatives to adopt new versions, listen to how they word these things, of 2 laws originally drawn up to deal with the safety of youth online. But the fear is that the bills introduced now, called the Kids Online Safety Act, the Children in Texas Online Privacy Protection Act, will facilitate implementation of future sweeping age verification and digital ID pushes. So these concerns are raised because the FTC will be given power to conduct a study evaluating the most technologically feasible methods and options for developing systems to verify age at the device and operations system level. At this stage of the proceedings, the study will not be used to mandate these platforms to implement an age gating or age verification functionality. But it goes on to say that there is fears by many people that this technology that is being spun as protection for children, which we all want, which is you name them those things so that everybody's like, who can be against that? Who can be against child protection? Has embedded in it digital ID verification, spun in the things like we're protecting kids.
You mean to possibly gain access to their fingerprint, to iris scan them, to do all sorts of things like that? And under the guise of protecting our children?
Absolutely. And then to use that information to say, okay, you're Larry Ragland. You're the guy that did that podcast talking about the stuff that we didn't like. Well, guess what? No internet for you. You don't get to read this. You can't use the internet unless you log in first so that we can verify that you're not this person that's done this, and this, or that you're not a child.
So they can control your access?
That's what this is all about. That's what that article is about. Wow. It's happening, Sandy. It's oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Just this week, Meta, I don't have the article, but Meta, who owns Facebook, the whole Facebook group, said that they are not going to allow political ads to be seen as we get closer and closer. And what has been leaked is what they mean is they're not going to let Donald Trump be seen. And look, I'm getting on a rabbit trail here, but if you didn't know this, if you use Instagram, and I think Facebook has implemented it already, if they're not, they're about to, you go into your Instagram settings, and you go into privacy and security, you will find a bunch of new things that you didn't know in there that are already toggled on. And you know what they are? See less politics. It's already checked on. I had to turn it off. It already says, chooses for you to see less political ads. And then there's another one saying, see less articles fact-checked. Meaning when they're fact-checkers, fact-check something that they don't like, it's by default in your Instagram right now that you don't get to see it unless you turn that off. If you have an iPhone, the latest update just inserted and automatically turned on. See less political content. It's in your iPhone. You have to manually turn it off. They've already begun to roll these things out. And what we talk about here, and we're still proud of Rumble. If you don't follow us on Rumble, many are watching on Rumble right now. Go to rumble.com/Larry Ragland. We're proud of what they're doing.
Would you like to help us build the big picture family?
Sorry. This is what Rumble did this week. Rumble came out and said this, that they have received, we knew this was coming, censorship demands from Australia and New Zealand. And we have said what is being tested there is coming here. And this is the CEO of Rumble, who prides themselves as being the video platform where you can say what you can't say on this other platform. We are noticing a dramatic increase in global censorship. Chris Pavlovsky said, the owner and the CEO of Rumble, he says that he has received demands from authorities in Australia, New Zealand, and other countries. He said the video sharing platform noticed a dramatic increase recently in global censorship. He says that they go on to say that if they fail to remove the content, then this is what they're saying from Sydney. If they don't remove the content, talking about Rumble and others that we don't like, we will go to search engines such as Google or Bing and minimize the amount of content that Australians can see. How do you not define that as open censorship? That is absolutely open censorship. And they're coming after Rumble. Now, thankfully, Rumble said, pound sand. You know, you don't want to show our stuff in Australia, that's on you. We're not taking it down. And guess what also happened on X? It's the same thing. Is X got the same thing from Australia and New Zealand, and Elon Musk said the same thing. We're not taking down. You know what they wanted to take down? They wanted to take down the image of the preacher being stabbed while he was preaching.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to take down because the one that stabbed him was a 15-year-old Muslim boy.
Wow. My goodness.
Yeah.
Very serious.
This is the world we live in.
Yeah. Do you smell something? Do you smell something in here? Something going on?
Something. I do. I don't know if I can play along. Yeah, Sandy. Maybe. Okay.
What is
that?
Keeping a straight face? What does that smell?
Do you smell? What?
Well, some people have stated they're struggling with some smell. They're struggling with the smell.
This is yours. I'm taking a break.
Donald Trump.
This is yours. I'm on break.
So how many of you have seen this story? I got this on my phone as a Newsbreak article from OK.
A Newsbreak
article from OK Magazine talking about struggling with the smell. Donald Trump farts up a storm during his criminal trial as a foul stench fills
Harper.
the courtroom.
This is my grandbaby. If you're watching the show right now, don't say that word.
Cover her ears. So this is being reported.
All right. Here, I'm giving you the mouse. You scroll it.
I don't know if I can operate it way over here.
This is your article.
Let's see. So this is being reported.
She wanted this one.
I wanted this one, guys. There's a weird smell in the Manhattan 100 Center Street courthouse, and multiple sources claim the foul stench is coming from former President Donald Trump, who is allegedly partying throughout his hush money criminal trial. Look at that. Look at that expression on his face.
Why are we doing this?
Co-founder of Midas Touch and owner of Los Angeles Magazine released a video on Friday, April 19th, claiming that Donald Trump is actually, I hate saying this word.
Let's say.
It's the F word.
Relieving.
It's the other F word.
It's the other F word. No, you did not say that.
And that it's a very stinky around
Okay,
him.
I've heard enough. But look, Sandy, this news article goes on to say, I'm hearing it from very credible people.
That he's kind of falling asleep. And I had heard.
We're doing this to show you the absurdity.
I had heard
that this is supposed to be
he
news.
was falling asleep in the courtroom, whether that's true and real or not. And now this story. But
wouldn't it be just like him? Wouldn't it be just like him to just say, hey, I wonder if anybody even say anything about this. I'm gonna mess with all these people in this courtroom.
So wow,
I know this is not news.
Wow. We wanted
we're
to
losing
provide a
viewers
little
left and right
comic
now.
relief right here.
We had to do something
and
funny.
This story goes on at the end to say that he was supposedly, I think, asked to leave a restaurant way back in the 80s for doing the same thing. So,
I'm not that one comment. Please, if there is a God, please have Donald Trump himself in court. It would be the funniest thing to ever happen. See, look, the reason we're covering this is, ladies and gentlemen.
Like you said, the absurdity.
Look at the top.
Right.
News break. Did you get this as an update? You got this as a breaking news or whatever. You got it as a notification.
On my phone, right. Yes. Otherwise, I would not have seen or known about this. And I thought,
and for the record,
we got to show this.
She requested this news article.
I did request it.
And I was happy to give her this one.
But like
That's
you
insane.
said,
That's
the
stupid.
Absurdity.
Stupid.
Oh, my goodness.
So stupid.
How much farther are we going to stoop and fall? You wouldn't have seen this story about anybody else.
No.
True or untrue?
Okay, I don't want to bash our current president, but you know what they've said about him behind the podium that he's done.
Okay.
More than that. Okay?
Let's
But nobody wants to report on that. Okay?
Okay. Moving on.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Where's it at? There it is. That was my joke for the night. But, good thing, Sandy. April 15th is coming on. Everybody's done their taxes. Two sure things in life. Death and taxes, they say. Well, the IRS agents are coming. They've armed them. Remember that when they all got guns now. And why does an IRS agent have to have guns and all this kind of stuff? But look, I want to settle your heart. Our government is looking out for you. They want to make sure all the numbers are right.
Yes.
It's breaking today that the IRS commissioner, the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, has stated today, yes, AI is going to play a growing role in future tax collection.
Whoever could have guessed, right?
Who could have guessed it? It says you can't spell Internal Revenue Service without AI, and its commissioner, Danny Werfel, offered a vision this week for how the tax collecting agency intends to use artificial intelligence in the not-so-distant future. I'm not going to bore you with all of the article, but I think the headline says enough. That, ladies and gentlemen, AI is taking over everything.
Yes.
And they are now going to calculate your taxes and will probably calculate your penalties, and possibly, this is what I thought today, AI could actually be used to put you in prison if they want to manipulate the numbers. Your thoughts on AI doing our taxes?
Crazy, overstep.
Unbelievable.
Scary to think that AI could decide if you need to go to prison or not, actually enforce this. It's just, it's the movies come to life.
It is the movies.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what else it is. Sorry, it's Uncle Jimmy!
Uncle Jimmy!
Uncle Jimmy!
Woohoo! You know, most weeks...
Supernatural AI update.
I don't know to dread his appearance or look forward to it.
Yeah.
Usually by this time, I'm thankful that he's making an appearance so that we can just change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, once we get into his segment, it's as bad or worse.
That's right. That's right. It is. Do we have a friend with us tonight?
I think he might make an appearance.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Just making sure he's
Little
here.
Cosmo.
Korean neuroscientists scientists use artificial intelligence to decode people's dreams and spontaneous thoughts. This is the world we're not going to live in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the world we are living in. New research suggests that it may be possible to develop predictive models of effective contents during spontaneous thoughts by combining personal narratives with fMRI. A team of researchers led by Kim Hongjian and Wu Changwan at the Center of Neuroscience Imaging Research within the Institute of Basics. My God, what a long name. Excuse me. My goodness, what a long name. Has unlocked a new realm of understanding within the human brain. The team demonstrated the possibility of using functional magnetic resonance imaging and machine learning algorithms to predict subjective feelings in people's thoughts while reading stories or in a free thinking state. So in other words, they hook you up to the machine. Yeah. They give you a book and start reading the book. And your mind is interpreting the words and you're thinking about things. AI knows what you're thinking and can put it in a machine and predict what you're about to say.
And we need to do this. Why?
Because it's for the greater good somehow. Somehow this is for the greater good. Somehow we need to know. By the way, there's been dreams that I've had I wished I had AI to help me understand what I just dreamed. You ever had one of them dreams you wake up and you're like, God, are you talking to me? Was that the devil or was that what I ate last night? But AI can come along and say, that was God, that was the devil, that was the pizza. Was that a good interpretation of what I just read?
I think it was at least fair.
Okay.
It was at least fair interpretation. Yeah.
Well, as we're continuing down the digital road, I told you this was coming. I predicted it right here. New South Wales, Australia. What is up with Australia? If you live in Australia, we've got a lot of people that watch from Australia. I'm praying for you people down under because y'all's not y'all, but your leaders done gone crazy.
Well, they're a precursor. They're always going before and leading the way in all these technologies, all these decisions.
Yeah.
We certainly saw it with COVID.
Yes. Yep. New South Wales, Australia now, Sandy, is from the birth to the grave now. Apparently it's going to be digital. Yeah. Has now debuted digital ID birth certificates. Digital ID birth certificates. In the future, it could also be used for everything from school enrollments to passport applications, paving the way for secure, I love they always use secure, and convenient digital solutions. Yeah. The Australian government of New South Wales has recently debuted their new digital ID birth certificates, a fully digitized birth certificate that is created upon a child's birth and can be obtained upon request by a legal adult. What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong
with this?
Again, the movies. They can make you totally disappear.
Exactly. Hey, I was born on so-and-so and so-and-so. This is my birthday. Not according to my records. According to my records, you don't exist. According to my records, you're not 40. You're 60. According to my records, you don't qualify for benefits that begin at 65. You're only 45. You got to work another 20 years to prove to me that you're 65. Huh. Everything that's digital is what, Sandy?
Programmable.
Programmable. And if it's programmable, it's controllable. Yes. That is what all of this is about. Yes. How many times do we have to say this before people begin to wake up? When your money is digital, when your car is digital, when your TV is digital, when your internet's digital, when everything is digital, and now the proof that you exist, your birth certificate is digital, then everything that is about you can be turned off. They want your passport to be digital. They want you to have your digital vaccine proof, everything. It wants to be digital. Why?
Right.
And the people that want it to be digital, are you not a little leery of those people?
Definitely should be. They don't want you presenting a printed document.
No.
A paper document. They want to rely on everything digital, which, as you just said, is programmable.
It's programmable.
Somebody can get in there and change it.
Now, give me 20 seconds.
That's all you want?
To be Preacher Larry. There is something in Scripture called the mark of the beast. Even people that's never been in church in their life, never read a single scripture on that, they've heard of the mark of the beast. In fact, you've mocked Christians because of their belief in the mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast is a mark that the Bible says in the book of Revelation will be on your hand or your forehead.
Yep.
And you will not be able to, this is chilling what I'm about to tell you. You will not be able to buy or sell or function in life unless you have a mark on your right hand or your forehead and that you've worshiped the image of the beast. That's what the Bible says. Yeah. We have covered extensively here on The Big Picture. You can go back and watch old episodes of what they call pay with Palm, right? Amazon's GoPay system is a pay with Palm system. They are integrating it. It is not conspiracy theories. It's happening in New York and other cities where you take you have your hand and you scan your palm, you connect it to your phone, then you leave your phone at home. And now your palm can check out at the register. Remember, your hand or your forehead, you can take your hand. Now, I know it's not on this side or whatever, but you can take your hand and you can pay for it. Well, week after week after week, we covered paying with your hand. We covered scanning the iris. Mm-hmm. Guess what debuted this week? Pay by face. Biometric terminal Pay by Face announces this week broad expansion across Europe. There you are again, Australia, and more. It's a company called Pay by Face. The innovative Amsterdam-based fintech startup announces several country-based agreements and subsidiary expansion across several major European markets, including the Netherlands, UK, Ireland, France, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Romania, and Bulgaria. This is what is coming. Let me mute this because I'm going to get a strike with that music. So we're just going to talk about it as it goes through. I will get a strike on playing that music. So this is tied to Visa, okay? Now watch it. Watch it. Do you see this called Pay by Face, FinTech Synergies? They're going to show this store that they're in, and of course they got a mask on. Of course they got a mask on. And you're going to pay with face with a mask on. This is the CEO. It's very hard to do without, look at him. This is the CEO of the company demonstrating this. Of course, he takes his mask off to demonstrate.
His mask.
He looks at it, he scans his face, and he pays for it. All right, so I'm sorry I can't play the music because I just realized as soon as I play the music, these are the ones that always get me struck. But this is a guy here doing it as well. I'm going to try to see if I might be able to play a little bit of this. This is him paying with his face. Boom. He just paid. So now we have integrated in stores technology to pay with your hand, even though it's your palm, pay with your face, even though it's just your face. Is it too far-fetched to believe that that is the beginning of the precursor of a technology that is going to be tied to purchasing with your hand or your face? Is this not incredible, Sandy?
It is.
That this is unveiling right before our eyes.
Let's go back to the shiny orb.
Right. People done moved on from that.
Right. What exactly was that about? And that was mostly a European thing where they were lining up.
Well, they were in Los Angeles. They were in San Francisco. They were in different cities in our country. They were in multiple cities around the world. And they were scanning their eyes and their face and tying it to a new digital currency.
Right.
And guess who owns it? Sam Altman, the owner of OpenAI.
Goodness.
You're right, Sandy. We done forgot about those orbs.
Forgot about that.
We done moved on. And if you want further evidence, let's rapid fire, and then we're going to show you in just a few seconds here, just a couple of minutes, we're going to show you what Tucker Carlson said about what he's been told about what are aliens really. And it shocked Joe Rogan, if you haven't seen this. But look at this here. U.S. Army base is now testing AI facial recognition for threat detection and perimeter monitoring. So now they're admitting it. You know they've been doing it for a while. But the United States Army is admitting now that they are trialing a new AI security system at its Bluegrass Army Depot, utilizing artificial intelligence and facial recognition technology for heightened perimeter defense and threat detection. When I see things like this, and I see our military openly saying that the entry to military establishments is now going to be run by AI, and you just know how so many things have been hacked.
Yes.
All somebody's got to say is, I want this guy to go in and infiltrate this facility, and I'm going to tell the AI to pretend to look the other way or something. I mean, this can't end good, y'all. This is Terminator. Terminator is here, Sandy.
Yeah, definitely. Skynet.
Have I got you speechless?
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Once again, all these things are just rolling around in my mind. I'm trying to process everything that we're spitting out here. It's a lot, again, as it is most weeks.
How are you doing? You got a few more minutes in you?
Maybe a few.
Okay.
Trying to hang in there.
Have you ever heard the term Stargate?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Does it not blow your mind that we all know what these terms are, and then these companies come out and just call their companies these things? Look at what OpenAI and Microsoft are partnering to create a computer, a supercomputer that is AI powered, and they openly call it Stargate. Yeah. Microsoft and AI is going to build a $100 billion supercomputer campus to help develop artificial intelligence models. I can scroll down here, I believe, and I've got this video here.
OpenAI and Microsoft are teaming up for a massive project called Stargate. That's all about making a super powerful AI computer. They're planning to spend more than $100 billion on it, which is a huge deal because it's going to be one of the biggest efforts ever in building data centers. They want to have it up and running by 2028, and it's expected to be bigger and more advanced than any data center we've seen before. This big project is Microsoft and OpenAI working together to build not just one, but a bunch of super advanced computers, and Stargate is going to be the best of them all. Microsoft is ready to put up the money needed for this. The whole thing depends on OpenAI getting a big update done on their platform sometime next year. Even though neither company has officially said much about it, the fact that they haven't denied it when asked makes people even more curious and excited about what's coming.
Man, I'm telling you, our show is not a show to promote movies. We don't even watch movies anymore, okay? I know some of y'all think all we do is watch movies. We don't hardly ever even watch movies. We're going back to movies of our early marriage and all this kind of stuff that we're talking about here. When I see videos like this, this just reminds me of Skynet.
Yes.
This just absolutely feels just like all these decisions were made thinking they were great commercial decisions. And then one day they went, uh-oh. And it was the end. Thank God we've read the back of the book and we win.
You're absolutely right.
Wow. It'll just overwhelm you, won't it?
It will absolutely overwhelm. I mean, I'm overwhelmed sitting here just clicking through all these news stories and try to talk about them and dissect them. It's hard to fully process everything that's in these articles. I mean, we're kind of glossing over them. I hope that you get the gist of what the article is about, because a lot of times that's just what I can process in the moment. If we come across one, especially that I have not read already or am familiar with, but we're hitting these one after the other.
Unbelievable.
It's like being pelted in the face with rocks or something.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a cleansing prayer and let this thing's over with. But I got 2 more articles to show you. 2 more articles. This first one, I had to verify this. I had to go to the website and verify that this was not a parody. This is not a parody, what I'm about to show you. This is an actual startup company.
Oh, I can't believe I just said that when you're about to talk about this.
Exactly. You set me up perfectly.
I'm sorry. I didn't even look down. I did not even see that. Okay.
This is not a parody. We have 2 more. This, and then we're going to show you the Tucker Carlson comment. That's going to be our last one. But a new startup is using AI home security, creates an AI home security system that fires paintballs at unwanted visitors.
And we should point out what unwanted visitors means.
Well, I'm about to show you a video that's going to illustrate to you. A tech startup firm is looking to transform home security again with a proprietary camera that fires paintballs at unwanted visitors and trespassers. And how interesting that she is named Eve. So let's watch this little 1-minute clip here.
Hello, I'm Eve, an AI-powered robotic security system with a powerful paintball launcher to deter any intruder. With my advanced camera system, I differentiate familiar faces from those who are not supposed to be there. My design is elegant, but I pack a powerful...
This is real. This is not in place yet. They're a startup. They're a Kickstarter. But they have investors. This is going to happen.
Punch, no matter the conditions, with night vision, sound dispatcher, and a warning laser, I always hit the mark.
Nothing can go wrong with this. This is so safe. Target marketing, automatic target marketing. This is just talking about the company, but we have to watch this. Okay, we have to watch this. This is their promo.
Picture a man named Bob, a hardworking family man whose top priority is ensuring the safety of his loved ones. Despite having a home fortified with security systems, he found himself lacking a crucial element, the ability to actively deter intruders. And so, he created me. I'm Eve, an AI-powered robotic security system equipped with an integrated paintball launcher, face recognition, and sound dispatchers, which allows me to recognize intruders and stop them in their tracks. I am computed to examine my owner's property. Upon detecting unknown entities, I dispatch the message.
This is my favorite part. And I let this play knowing that I'm going to get flagged for playing that music. I don't even care. Flag me, because you had to hear this. So the intruder walks up, scans it, recognizes it's not Jimmy, whoever the owner was, and listen to Eve.
You are identified as a non-authorized personnel. You have 5 seconds to leave the property. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Zero compliance. Zero tolerance.
You had your chance to leave.
Bob and I are tightly connected through his mobile.
Did you hear? It didn't sound like a paintball gun. and all of a sudden you see splatter. There's just no way that anyone would look at that technology and say, I wonder if we could alter this to
get some
not
actual
shoot
ammunitions,
paintballs, but maybe reload it with something else. That's scary.
Yeah,
This is a very real startup company that millions of dollars have already been invested.
Right.
And you can become a part of it. You can go get you one and be a part. And they'll send you one when they come out. Wow.
Like you said, does home modifications. You just don't know where they might lead.
You have been labeled an unauthorized visitor. You have 5 seconds to leave the property. 5, 4. Wow. All right, so I'm about to show you the clip from Tucker Carlson when he talked to Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan asked the question, what are aliens? You have been privy to people, you have interviewed people. What are aliens? Are they real? But before we do that, I want to show you that you can go to LarryRagland.com. You can get a copy of our book, or you can bless us by taking 30 seconds to watch this commercial.
Would you like to help us build the big picture family? We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. All you have to do is go to our website at LarryRagland.com and make a one-time gift, or you can become a monthly partner. Any amount is a blessing and an encouragement to us. While you're there, make sure you get a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect with us on our social media links, and join our mailing list. We appreciate it. And remember, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.
Good stuff.
Oh, yes. We thank you that many of you have done that. You've become a partner with us. We appreciate it. And we've found out that if you're coming in late, we're going to be going on our television program on Faith TV beginning in May. Be on Direct TV and many other, all of your Apple TV, Roku, and all those things. You can go to our website for more information on that. So without further ado, let us go to this clip here. This was a part of almost a 3.5-hour interview that two of the most controversial people out there, Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson, on the same show together. And Tucker Carlson talks about when he changed his mind on aliens. And I know it's late in the game here, but I think some of you are going to really want to watch this. So I'm just going to let it play. I don't know if I'll play the whole thing, but I just want you to hear what he says and what Joe Rogan's response is.
Upper level is okay, so if they're spiritual beings, which I believe they are, like it's a binary. They're either, you're on team good or team bad. You can assign any name to it you want, but like, what are these things? Are they good or bad? And I think some of them are bad. And if the U.S. government knows that, or elements, the people within the U.S. government know that, then they're serving a bad force. And
well, when you say spiritual, like what makes you draw that conclusion that they're spiritual?
What's the obvious? I mean, spiritual may be the wrong word. Supernatural. They're beyond nature as we understand it. I mean, obviously they are. I mean, just chart their physical behavior. It doesn't, it goes outside of what we understand about physics. No visible means of propulsion, coming at indescribable speed, hitting the ocean, continuing at speeds that are impossible undersea. I mean, in other words, if I take a 9mm round or 7.62 by 39 and shoot you at 50 yards underwater in a swimming pool, and it's even more intense in salt water because it's denser, you could catch the bullet if it even makes it to you, right? So if you have a craft, any object underwater that's traveling at 500 knots as measured by sonar, right there you're challenging our understanding of physics. Like, what is that? How can that be? So yeah,
they've tracked that. They've tracked things going 500 knots under the sea.
Yeah, really. Yeah, much faster than any object can actually go undersea. Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on underwater, and a lot. And there's video of these things coming out of the sky into the water and also emerging from the water.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's all so blurry, though.
I don't think it's that
transmedium video.
Yeah, I don't think some of it's that blurry. I think some of it's crystal clear.
We just don't have access to it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Just we haven't seen it.
Correct.
So they have some stuff
for sure. So, but there's just a lot going on underwater, and it's measured. And so, whatever. I mean, these are all, again, this is like the most obvious observable level of it. But then you just ask yourself, like, what is this actually? And, you know, if there's been extensive knowledge of this for decades, like maybe 80 years at least, if not going back to the 30s, 90 years, you know, to what end? So there are two possible explanations, obvious explanations. The first is the one you often hear, which is this is so heavy that if the public were to know about it, it would be just disruptive. It would be too scary. Like, you don't want to scare people for no good reason. There's nothing we can do about it. And you also don't want to suggest that, you know, the U.S. military isn't capable of protecting the country, the homeland. And it does suggest that. If you can't control these objects in your airspace, and that's known, if they can't, that's known, okay? Then that suggests a limit to the power of the U.S. military, and you don't want to tell people that because then they won't believe that they're safe. I get it. But then there's a deeper level, which is like, okay, what's your relationship with these things? What is the U.S. government's relationship with these things? And there's evidence that there is a relationship and that it's a longstanding, and that raises like a lot of questions about intent. And and so, like, what is that? And I just personally decided, you know, and people have been hurt by these things. You know, that's a fact. That's a fact. It's a knowable fact. It's a provable fact. And killed. And I'm not saying millions of people have been killed by whatever these things are, but people have been killed, and it's known because it's working its way through the courts out of the VA. So, I don't know, an object that is by definition supernatural, it's above the laws of nature as we understand them, and that has resulted in the deaths of people. We don't spend enough time thinking about like what that adds up to. Like, not good, actually, not good.
And that's just a portion of it. And he goes on and on and on. So as we get ready to close, what is your closing thoughts on what you just heard?
He seems really uncomfortable at this point.
Yeah, he does.
Speaking slowly. Seems like he's really thinking about his words.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's because he's just trying to choose every word, or maybe he is really scared for his life. I don't think he said anything too devastating. I think he could have said a lot more.
Yeah.
I think he probably has knowledge from people that have shared things with him that he could get very specific.
Yeah.
He's being not really vanilla, but he's being a little vague.
Yeah.
He's not going into you know, hardcore specifics, which I believe he could.
Yeah, and you're talking about two guys one guy who has been a prolific atheist, who is at least open to hearing things. And you're talking about another guy that says he is a Christian, was raised in a very non-religious environment, church environment, and is just now, for the first time in his life, he just said it after he got fired from Fox News, began to read the Bible for the first time in his life. And he's reading it cover to cover. So you're talking about two seasoned, very influential people.
Very influential.
Who you have one who is sort of at least moved into agnostic, and you have, quite frankly, it's weird to say this about Tucker Carlson, a baby Christian who just is now just learning about the supernatural realm.
Right.
And he's been privy to things that have been told to him.
Let's say this. I don't mean to interrupt you. We didn't play this part of the clip. But he's not only heard, you know, shocking, he's heard things that bothered him very, very badly.
Very badly.
And he will go on to say, I won't even tell my wife.
He said that. Sure did.
Some of the things, I don't know if he said I've seen, but he definitely said that I've heard, or maybe things that have been explained to me, scenarios that have been laid out to me of what's going on, how this works, what the government knows, and what they're doing with these entities.
And I think it's very interesting. Two things is that he has said repeatedly, I have told my wife there will be things that I will never tell you, that I've seen and I know. And I think for you to know that kind of information and not come out and say they are from another planet, but sound like you're trying to tell the world they are from another dimension, or they are demonic, or they are evil. No. That's what he's sort of trying to say.
Okay, so we didn't play this part either, but he goes on to say these entities are living underground, and they've been there for a very long time.
Yes.
And for you and I, that's not the first time we've heard that specific statement.
Yep. So here's what it is. We just report the news here and show you the big picture. Yeah. Sandy, I'm proud of you. You made it through another one. You're getting stronger and stronger. Thank you for all your prayers. And my goodness, thank you for all the super chats and super thanks tonight.
It's been amazing.
Wow.
You have
guys,
blown our minds tonight.
You really have. We love you guys.
Yes, we
Invite
do.
other people to join the big picture. If you're watching on replay, hit that like button, subscribe, share. We'll see you next time on the big picture. I want to remind you, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.
Good night.
Bye.